where the Supreme Court has used strong words to express its anguish over trial court judges denying bail to the accused in cases where custody is not needed. The Supreme Court termed such cases as intellectual dishonesty. On 2nd May, the Supreme Court had passed certain strictures against a Lucknow judge for not complying with its recent direction to be liberal with bail. Where custody was not needed, the top court even passed an order asking the Allahabad High Court to remove the judge from any judicial work and send the judge to an academy to brush his legal skills. Now, the top court observed that despite its verdict on the bail delivered 10 months back, lower court were not following the order and that the situation was particularly appalling in Uttar Pradesh. And to discuss this further, I am joined by my colleague Harish to get us more details. Harish, this is significant as the Supreme Court of India has come down heavily against the lower court judge who have gone ahead and denied bail in cases that does not necessarily need them to be in custody.
Yes, that's right. Very significant observations coming in from the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has once again reiterated that bail should be the norm and jail an exception, and in whichever cases the accused deserve to be released on bail, the bail should be granted, and only in exceptional cases he should be sent to jail. And in cases where detention is not required, such an accused should not be sent on jail, and personal liberty should be given emphasis. So this comments came while hearing the appeal filed by a Lucknow judge who, as per an order of the May 10 order of the Supreme Court, was in fact asked to be sent back to Judicial Academy for not following Supreme Court's earlier directions on bail, which was passed 10 months back. This particular judge was directed to be in fact, Allahabad High Court had been directed to withdraw all judicial work from this judge because the Supreme Court was angry that he had been sending several accused on to police and judicial custody when the detention was not required. Supreme Court has noted this trend as intellectual dishonesty, and the Supreme Court emphasized that there are several guidelines laid down by the Supreme Court earlier. In a judgment 10 months back, Supreme Court had said that especially in offences punishable for less than 7 years in jail, the court should be liberal in granting bail to such accused, and also it should be looked into whether the custodial interrogation is required to unravel the truth, and the sending to the rules regarding sending to police or judicial custody had been made very stringent. But this particular judge was completely ignoring the Supreme Court's guidelines, was randomly sending several accused to jail. So this was why this particular judge was punished by the Supreme Court bench led by Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. The lawyer for this judge who was punished argued vehemently that he has already served 33 years in judiciary and was on the verge of retirement, or he was being considered for elevation. But the Supreme Court was not convinced and refused to modify the order and said that we are trying to send across a message to the subordinate court judges that they should be very liberal in granting bail, and personal liberty should be the utmost most important principle these judges should be keeping in mind. And therefore, the Supreme Court has not granted any relief to this judge who was punished, and against whom Allahabad High Court was asked to take strict action, like withdrawing all the judicial work from him and sending him to Judicial Academy. It was a very unprecedented order issued by the Supreme Court to send across a message to subordinate courts and high courts to follow the guidelines laid down by the Supreme Court as far as grant of bail is concerned.